Good afternoon to everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It's a wonderful, wonderful day, and I am so grateful, grateful, grateful. I guess you said she's doing it in threes today, huh? I am grateful to God that He has blessed us all to see another day. This is the 3rd of February in the year 2026, and I am grateful because God has allowed me, He has allowed you to live to see another day. And that is awesome, awesome, awesome. Today it is what it is. Now, so what are you going to do about it? It is so. I think I have a misspelled word there. So, yes, I do. What are you going to do about it? So that's the question I have for us today. What are we going to do about it? So, what are we going to do about it? Let's work on, well, out of care. I have to go back and redo that. I'm coming, everybody. I am coming back to you, but I have to correct. I am very critical of myself, and I'm pretty sure you probably are of yourself to make sure you get everything right. And I want to get everything right because I believe that everything should be in order. And so that begins with me. That begins with me. So let me get this right. I have JOW up there. Don't know how that, well, it had to go by my printing, but my typing. Okay, there it is. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. So we go into this topic, and I think, do you have thoughts on a daily basis? Not the same thoughts, but you just think about things that have gone on in your life, and you wonder about them, and they still, some things still trouble you because you know that they shouldn't have been. And so you let them go because you don't like conflict. You don't like it, don't want to be in any kind of confusion or anything, because you know human nature. And you know when people do things, hey, many times they are intentional. 90, I would say 98.9% of the time, I believe they're intentional. So it is what it is. So now what are you going to do about it? When people do things that are malicious and they think that they are getting away with it, they're being snide and they're being sly. They think that you don't know anything about it. They think that you're naive about it, but you're noticing this. And then it goes on and on from occasion to occasion. And you're still, okay, trying to be friendly, trying to be the good person, and it keeps on happening. So it is what it is. So what are you going to do about it? Okay? And that's it. It is a fact. When things happen, they keep happening, the same things in the same way, time after time, on certain occasions. They are what they are. So it is what it is. What are you going to do about it? So I want to talk about that phrase, it is what it is. And there is a stoic meaning. It is what it is, the stoic meaning behind the saying. The stoic meaning behind the saying. And you know, we not trying to put ourselves above others, not trying to say that we're so much better than other people, but we are who we are, okay? We are who we are, and we must maintain or retain our integrity and teach other people to respect us. So how are we going to do that? What are we going to do about it? It is what it is. Now, what are we going to do about it? And I'm going to talk about this meaning. It is what it is, the Stoic meaning behind the saying. Many times you'll hear the phrase, it is what it is, being used to express acceptance. Acceptance, ACCEPTANCE, not EX, okay? This is acceptance of a difficult situation that cannot be changed. Some people might view the expression as a way to justify not taking action to improve one's circumstances or to change an undesirable situation. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is so true because you don't want conflict. You want to, and many times in my situation, like I said, I don't like conflict. And then God has taught me that sometimes it's best to just keep your mouth closed about it. People say we need to talk it over. And I know people are going to bring up the scripture in the Bible, talk it over, and go to them and tell them what they did. But in this day and this time, with these people, the viciousness of people, of human nature, it is a fact that people, you go to people and try to get an understanding. You try to work it out. You want to know why. And people spin it the way they want to. And I have learned not to. You have to be very wise in situations like this. Sometimes it's not good to talk to a person and tell them, well, you did this and you did that. And I'm hurt because people, I know it for a fact, will take that you're saying innocently, trying to find out why and to see if it will not happen anymore if you bring it to the person's attention. But people will take it and spin it against you in their favor and will tell this person and that person, all the people that they know will take their side in the situation. Because many people just take people's side. They don't ask any questions. They just automatically believe that you are wrong. You did him wrong. You did her wrong. How dare you accuse them of something? People do that. We have to really be careful today. And that scripture tells us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Because when you go to a person and you try to work it out, in many cases, that person will hold that against you. And even though they might say that everything is all right, everything is not all right with them. So you really have to be careful. You have to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Oh, I'm so happy that you're here today. And I'm trying to get to where I am. It says I'm live. Okay, let me see. This is the live. Oh, yeah. Thank you for being. No, that's not it. Thank you for being here with me today. I am just so happy that you are here with me because this is a something that all of us need. All of us need. That's why I ask God to give me something that will help all of us, not just me, but all of us. Oh yes, we all need this. My screen went black. Let me see what's going on here. I want to make sure that I'm still rolling here on live. Yes, I am. Okay. So I gave you the Stoic information on that. So let me go to a conscious rethink. Rethink.com. A conscious rethink.com. Let me get here. Okay. Now, to get rid of this here. Okay, here we go. Stop saying it is what it is when it doesn't have to be. Stop saying it is what it is when it doesn't have to be. Things and just say, oh, well, it is what it is, and I just might as well go along with it. No, you have to. You don't have to go along with it. This article is by Steve Phillips Waller, published January 2018, the 9th of January 2018. Oh, yes. Now, all right, I'm going to do something right here. Right. Let me see. My camera is working today. Hi. Hi, everybody. I have my reading glasses on. My eyes are fixed real good, but I do wear my reading glasses, okay? Hello. So happy to see you. I am so happy for you to see me, okay? So now let me get to my conscious rethink. Okay. And we don't have to keep saying that. We don't have to accept things. Okay. Let me take care of this. I'm just so happy to be here with you today and to show my face. I could show it any day, but I just want to do it today because I'm not a camera, what they call some people camera hogs, and I don't want overexposure. That's why I don't uh, have myself on here every day, on the camera every day. So that's my explanation for that. Okay, I don't know why it says I was live, but I am live. Yeah, I am live. So I know you're seeing me, so I won't worry about it. But I like to monitor. I really do. Okay, there you are. Hi, everybody. Hi, Christina. Oh, thank you for being here with me. Just chime in anytime. Donna, hi, Donna Poole. That's my name for Donna. Daughter from another mother. Judy's daughter, but she's my daughter too. All right. Now let me get into this. Everybody, you know I love to present. And if you want to be on here with me one day, please just let me know, okay? Let me know if you want to be a guest on here. I'd love to have you. Okay, let me get back to what I'm talking about here. It is what it is. And some people live on that. Well, I can't do anything about it. But let me tell you something. You have a right to protect yourself, protect your integrity. You should set boundaries, treat other people how to treat you. And there are things that go on for years and years, and we just let people slide because we don't want to offend anyone. But just think about how you're being offended. So, hey, it is what it is. Now, what are we going to do about it? It's a flippant remark that often gets tossed casually into conversation, yet it could be doing you more harm than good. It is what it is. Who would have thought that these five little words could have such a profound impact on your life? Some of us are timid, and like I say, and I've probably said it, this is probably the third time, some people don't like conflict. And when you approach a person and you want to talk about something that's happened, like I said, you have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, and you have to know the spirit of the individual. And God will help you and bless you to discern the spirit of the individual and to let you know whether to go on with the conversation, start the conversation, or leave it alone because it could do more harm than good. Because some people are, believe it or not, self righteous. They do no harm, but they can find all the harm in everybody else's life and pick you to pieces, but they do no wrong. So we have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We must be to protect ourselves. But then protecting ourselves means to set boundaries and teach others how to treat us. Okay. The phrase has become a siren song for millions of people who have accepted their lot in life without so much as a whimper of protest. It has stolen the power and hope from these people and left them at the mercy of politicians, corporations, and society as a whole. So the next time you feel these words on the tip of your tongue, stop and think whether you really mean to say them. Sometimes things just come out and we say, "Ooh, did I really mean to say that?" Like I'm thinking about Urkel. Did I do that? Sometimes things come out before we think about them. And oh, now that's what it is, what it is. Call it back. Okay? So think we should be thinking at all times because there are so many things that are working against us. So the subtext to it is what it is. When you utter these words, there's often a hidden message that you are trying to convey, either to those you're speaking with or more insidiously to yourself. And that's the truth. You can be trying to convince yourself, well, I can't do anything about it. It is what it is. I might as well just leave it alone. Or do you mean to be talking to that other person? Well, it is what it is. Okay, so let's just let it slide. But many times you must speak up for yourself. You must speak up for yourself. That's right, Christine. The less you say, the more peaceful it will be in most cases. You that's perfect in most cases. The message is this: I surrender to these circumstances and relinquish any say I might have in them. And we do that, don't we? Sometimes we just let it go on and we just surrender and just stand back and let it slide. Sometimes it's not for us to do that. We must for ourselves at the appropriate time. You give up, you accept what is, you refuse responsibility. In the blink of an eye, you have turned any control you might have or you might have had over to the gods, or more likely, and desires of others who have their own interests at heart, not yours, not yours. And do you know the thing that there's things that prompted this, and I said that in the beginning, because you know when people are intentionally doing something, and I guess I could use that word, I'll use slick. They think you don't have enough in your mind to understand what they're doing to you. And when people do that to me, it, what is it? Let me say, what is that word I want to use? Annoy. It annoys me when people think that you don't know what they're saying and what they mean by what they're saying. So, hey, let me get out. The dangers of it is what it is. This mental position of surrender is appropriate in some stances, and we're going to cover those in a bit. But in many others, it is not. So we want to get this. The mental position of surrender is appropriate in some circumstances, but in many others, it is not. We can't let it slide all the time. We just can't. We're not supposed to let it slide all the time. And when we need, and I'm going to put this because I am who I am, when we need to answer, the Spirit of God will give us exactly what to say at the exact time. And then it'll say this, and that's enough. Hi, Laterica. I'm so happy you're here with me. How is it down there in Mississippi and Louisiana? Has that cold weather come through yet? You're right. Christine says you've accepted defeat. Yep. Okay. Good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I like this feedback. I like this conversation. I really do. Falling back to this as your default response are fourfold. When you just give up and say, oh, it is what it is. So we're going to give these reasons. Okay. Number one, you ignore what you can do. You ignore what you can do. Because let me tell us something as a reminder. We are magnificent creatures. We're a magnificent creation. And the Bible tells us that we are, what is it, wonderfully and fearfully made. And also we are made in the image of God. So he didn't leave anything out when he made us. Okay? So we have the intelligence to pick up on anything that's supposed to be aimed at us in an offensive way. We know. And then we will be given the intelligence to deal with it in a dignified way. I promise. I promise. And that we have that quote says, think before you speak. Oh yes, think before we speak. So when you give in to this phrase, it is what it is. Number one, you ignore what can do. It is what it is can become an excuse for inaction, an excuse not to do anything about it. It implies not only that this is the reality you face, but that you cannot make it any different. And that is not true. You can make it different because you have control of your life. And if by some reason or another, reason or another, that someone else is controlling you, and you know that someone has a hold on you, and you're not free from that, then you have to set yourself free. because you can. You are an individual. You have the right to control your own life. It is your right, your privilege to have the say so over who you are, what you do, where you go, the whole 9 yards, okay? So this implies this, it is what it is, implies not only that this is the reality you face, as I repeat, but that you cannot make it any different, but you can. I promise you can. This is the preordained flow, and it's a preordained flow of events, and you are just doing what you do and going along for the ride. That's fatalism for you. Can destroy you just going along for the ride. It is what it is. I'm just galloping along with the gang, but you don't have to do that. Okay? In many situations, however, you can do something to change or influence events. And yes, you can. You don't have to remain a passenger. You can take the wheel and choose the roads you take, at least to some extent. You can do it. You can do it. I promise you can do it. You take that first step, and the other steps come easier as you continue to take those steps. This is magnificent material, isn't it? And this is a 2018 article, and it is really good for this 2026. You don't have to remain a passenger. You can take the wheel, and at least you can change the direction to some extent. Okay? Just start to do it. You have potential within you, and you can decide when and if you turn it, excuse me, into action. Allergies. Number two, you ignore. These can be fatal to you, your personality. Expect. You ignore failure when you just say, oh, it is what it is. That means you ignore failure. We may retreat into this way of thinking when we experience failure to hide behind inevitably the inevitability of the outcome and avoid having to accept our own shortcomings. And we could, because we all have some fault or another. We have to acknowledge that. And when we acknowledge that there are flaws in our lives somewhere, then we can start to work on them and correct those flaws. Okay? Because sometimes something comes up in our lives, something we might not be aware of, something that we might have ignored, thinking it was smaller than what it really was. And sometimes they get bigger, then we have to deal with them. Okay? Yes, we have shortcomings. But when we realize these shortcomings, and then when we realize them, we can do something about it. Not just say, well, it is what it is, and be done with it. That's not for us to do. We are better than that. So we can't hide to behind the ability of the outcome and avoid having to accept our own shortcomings. Just own up to whatever it is. And let me tell you this, let me reiterate, even though I haven't said it today, but I say it. You don't have to tell everyone about your shortcomings. Times is not good to anyone. That's between you and God. And ask Him to give you the wisdom and the knowledge to deal with it as you should deal with it. And I'm going to say what Maureen, and her name is Marion Wimberly from Dennis, and I talk about her quite often. She has so many wise statements that she herself were created. And one that I really, really, really use is don't tell all you know, but know what to tell. Don't tell all of your business. Well, I found out the other day that this is wrong with me and this is wrong with me. You can't afford to tell everything. You can't afford, even though you might think that you are what confiding in someone, but sometimes we don't know how that will affect that person, and then many strange things can happen. So anyway, don't tell everything. Don't tell all you know, but know what to tell. Unfortunately, by doing so, this is by accepting our shortcomings and not accepting our shortcomings. Unfortunately, by doing so, we miss out on the many opportunities to learn and grow and better ourselves when we don't accept that do have shortcomings times. They don't last forever if we don't want them to, but things into our lives, they happen because we are human beings. Because we are human beings. And our trials come so that we can be stronger. When we make it through one trial, we'll be ready for the next one, okay? So things happen in life, and we already know that things are going to happen in our lives. And so when we get to whatever it is, then we will be able to deal with it in our own way, okay? As such, when next faced with a similar situation, we act in the same way and suffer the same undesirable outcome if we continue to say it is what it is and just leave it like that. But it doesn't have to be like that. I promise it does not have to be like that. Okay, this is good. Number three, you lose all creativity. Often we find ourselves falling back on this mindset because we do not have the patience to come up with a solution nor the belief that we are capable. Some people don't have self esteem. Some people don't have self esteem. Some people have been downtrodden. People have walked all over them. And I'm not saying physically, emotionally, mentally. Because some people, it depends on your environment. It really depends on how people, on their mindset, really. What they're used to seeing, what they're used to having done or used to doing. But we have to step out of that zone and we have to expand. No limitation to what we can do because we're made like that. We are resilient people. And I say we can take a licking and keep on ticking. Just look back over your life. Just look back at yesterday. You're still here today. So you have every chance to do well in order to be happy and to not live the same old way every single day. Improve 1 minute, 1 microsecond, femtosecond, nanosecond to the next. Keep moving forward because we can do it. Often we find ourselves falling back on this mindset because we do not have the patience to come up with a solution. Some people, oh, I just won't bother. That's just too trying for me. That's just too much. I'll just let it slide. No, we don't let things slide. We will not let things slide, nor to believe that we are capable. Some people don't believe that they can do things that, oh, that's impossible for me. I'm not cut out for that. But nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. We tell ourselves that it's too hard and that it's a waste of our time to try. It's for other people to innovate and create change, not someone like us. And that is not the truth. That is not the truth. You have to innovate, motivate yourself. You are the only one, we are the only ones that can control our lives and make the changes that we need to make in order to live a better life, to create a wonderful environment for us in the world that God made. And I want to say something, and I've said it before, it is not the world that's bad and mean and hateful. It is the occupants of the world. Next, the problem is creativity is something that needs to be developed and then nurtured. And so the less you use it, the weaker it becomes. If you don't use what you got, it will dwindle. I'm telling you. There's a song that I like by Bill Moss and the Celestials. Use what you got. Some people compare themselves to other people and they lose sight on who they are. Bill Moss, I'm just going to say just a little bit of that song. Use what you got. Live in the finest house on your block. Chandeliers, marble ceilings. You may not have a lot, but you feel good about yourself. And don't you envy no one else. Just thank the Lord you're blessed and use what you got. People will use excuses for not doing what they need to do. And it's not because they're bad people, it's not that. It's just some people just don't know. They just don't know. And so it's up to us to help motivate people. Have you ever known someone who is so critical of others? It seems that they never have a word of people. They're downing everything someone does. When you see good and you compliment a person, then this other person, yes, but there are people in this world like that. There are people in your life like that. And that's where it is what it is a negative for you. Don't just take it. Like I said, you have to set boundaries and you have to teach people how to treat you. You're creative, very intelligent, and they say the sky is the limit. I say the universe is the limit. Whatever you want to do, if you have the permission and God is in His will, you can do it. Whatever it is. There are so many people that have many talents, many gifts, and because of the environment they're in, because of what they think other people might say about them, because of negativity, they don't use half of what they have, half of what they've been blessed with, worrying about the negative. And I did a show about People worrying about what's going to happen, what might happen. But do you know only 15% of the things worry about happen? 85% of them don't happen. But people are worried, and only about 15% of what they worry about happens. Really. So we waste so much time worrying about what other people might say or do. Number four, you forget about empathy when you just say it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. That's it. Number four says you forget about empathy. Sometimes you might use your attitude of it is what it is as a means of consoling others, and that's the truth. Empathy is when you feel what others feel. It's different from sympathy. You don't have to feel it, but you can uh, feel for people. But when it's empathy, you can feel it. You might tell them this in hope of cheering, but it will almost certainly do the opposite. It is what it is, and there's nothing any of us can do about it. That's what some people say. It dismisses their feelings as invalid and irrational because no other outcome was possible. But when a particularly painful experience befalls someone, the last thing they want to hear is that it was fate or that nothing could have been done differently. That's why I am very careful about what I say to people in situations, especially when a death occurs or a sickness. I really ask God to give me what to say if I should say anything. Sometimes I don't say anything. Hello, I'm here for you. And I will sit there for a while or do something, whatever can be done. But I try not to open my mouth and say something that is absolutely ridiculous. So, telling a victim of domestic abuse, for example, that it is what it is. So get on with it and stop complaining. It's just about the most hurtful thing you could say, and that is true. And that's why I say some people don't say it, and sometimes it's because of innocent ignorance. Maybe they've heard someone else say it, or they just don't know what to say. They could be nervous. But when somebody is in trouble, there are things you just have to hold back. You really do. We should not accept the unacceptable as the inevitable. Okay? We don't have to accept something that we don't have to accept thinking that it was going to be this way anyway. It's just like this anyway. We don't have to do that. There are too many other choices in life. Oh my goodness. Am I finished with this? Okay, when it really is what it is, here's the next thing. Some things are beyond our control, and we know that for a fact. We know that that is a fact. Okay, Christina, love you. Thank you so much for being with me. Some things are beyond our control. In these circumstances, it's actually okay to speak those five little words, shrug your shoulders, and accept things rather than fight against them. In fact, it's often beneficial to do just that. Often beneficial. A bird flying a sticky bomb on your head. Unfortunate, yes. Something you had con- you had control over. Your train is canceled at the last minute because of technical problems. It doesn't feel good, but there is no way you could have foreseen it. Your favorite sports team just so happens to be languishing at the bottom of the league table. It's a hard one to take, but what can you do? We all know that, don't we? We've had that experience. In all of these situations, you could get angry, rage at at those around you, and work yourself into a serious stress headache. Yeah, you could, and many people do. Or you could realize that some things are beyond your control, accept are, and make peace with them. Sure, if there is something you can do to remedy the situation, by all means do it. But don't punish yourself and others for the initial event. Some people take uncontrollable things out on other people, and that's a sad thing, but it has happened. And I know all of us have experienced that. All of us have experienced that. So looking back at the past, the same mindset that relies on it is what it is as a means of defending an action in the present is one that looks back at the past with a similar attitude. We cannot change the past, this is certain, but to frivolously declare that it was what it was is to admit that those evil, unjust things that happened in the past were acceptable and unavoidable at the time. Wow. It is to say that war was unavoidable, that slavery was inevitable, that women did not deserve equal pay with men. And the problem with this sort of thinking is that it bleeds into and causes a sense of helplessness we're talking about in this article, and that is so true. Injustices are still rife all across the world, and so long as people feel unable to enact change, these abuses of power will continue. That is so true, and oh, we are witnessing that today. What to say slash think instead. Instead of it is what it is, what can we say? What can we think instead? When you're faced with adverse circumstances, rather than let it is what it is, letting that cloud your vision, ask yourself these questions. First point, was this outcome something I could have avoided? Next point, if so, what lesson can I learn to avoid it happening again? Next, what can I do now that would improve the situation? Next, how can I encourage those around me to act and create positive change? Those are good questions. And say these affirmations. Here's some affirmations. Oh, this is so good. Now, let me see here. Let me go back and I'll turn my camera back on. Okay, these affirmations, let's get to those. All right. First is I have the power within me to improve my life. I believe a better life is something that I should aspire to. Next, I will learn from the past to improve my future. Next, I will act with compassion and empathy when others experience hardship. That is it. That give have compassion love, sympathy, and empathy in the right time. Oh, yes. Do unto others as you would them do unto you. No one, this is wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up now. And in good time, too. No one is going to force you to take charge of your life and accept the fact that your actions or inaction are choices you make. You are an adult, and how you live your life is your business. However, if you can see that your broken relationships, unfulfilling job, poor health, or whatever else you might bemoan are things that you have some control over, you can take the steps needed to remedy the situations. It is what it is until you decide that it isn't. Ooh, that is so good. It is what it is until that it isn't. This is an unconscious think right here. And I am so happy for this article. This is one of my sites, and unconsciousthink.com. So I want to remind you that my music is out here on the World Wide Web. My 4-part series, and Ain't No Love is the name of it. You can find it on Spotify. And all of these uh, videos, these webcasts, if you need to go back over them, you can. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on YouTube. All of them are on YouTube because I found out and noticed that Facebook does delete after so many days. So you can find them on Facebook. You can find many of them on my LinkedIn page. You can contact me through this site, through Facebook, through YouTube, through LinkedIn, through what is any of these messaging services, okay? Thank you so much. And I think my information might be here on the screen. Thank you so much for joining me today. And in my last two releases are really, really good. And I hope you go to YouTube Music. You can go to SoundCloud. You can go to Apple Music, Amazon Music, and even your Amazon devices, your Apple devices. All you have to do is just say music by Miss Shirley Polk or Evangelist Shirley Polk, the Inspiration of God's Singers, the Inspiration of God's Singers Children are on there. So I invite you to go and listen. And my last two releases are I Thank You, Lord, and Take a Break. I love you so much. Please join me on Thursday for What of You with Miss Shirley Polk. It's been a pleasure, as it always is, to come to you live. And this day is, as I repeat, Tuesday, the 3rd of February in the year 2026. But wherever you are, whenever you're watching and listening, it could be 10 years from now if the Lord lets the world go on until then and after, or it could be tomorrow, another day, but this is always good for you. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And I decree health, prosperity, happiness, content. Whatever you need, I decree it in the name of Jesus. I love you so much.